Hello and welcome back. So it's a very early start this morning. It is currently 6:30 in the morning, and today's journey I can only describe really as very peculiar. So I'm currently stood at Loughborough Railway Station, and I'm going to be heading up to Doncaster. I will touch on very shortly a bit more of the journey and what I will be doing, but no, nonetheless we're going to get as much in as we can, and I'm going to be filming the journey between here and there. So as always, I hope you enjoy it, and welcome back to Down the Line. So let me just run through my peculiar journey for today. So obviously being based in Milton Keynes, I've driven up to Loughborough, which is just over an hour, so not that bad. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get on the train from here, head on to Nottingham, change there, head on to Sheffield, and then change there to go on to Doncaster. So all in all, it's cost me about £28. So that's not bad to be fair. So my train is going to be here in about 20 minutes time. So we're going to have a little look around, tell you a bit about Loughborough, and also there's something cool to the side of me which I will touch on very shortly.
Loughborough Railway Station is situated on the Midland main line, approximately 111 miles from London St Pancras. It was opened in 1872 by the Midland Counties Railway, but in the modern day it is managed by East Midlands Railway. Loughborough has 3 platforms and sees its services also run by East Midlands Railway to places like Leicester, Kettering, Lincoln and Nottingham. Unsurprisingly, this station is Grade 2 listed, and it is easy to see why, as it has retained much of its Midland Railway architecture, apart from the fact that its canopies have been cut back. It became known as Loughborough Midland when Loughborough had a total of 3 railway stations, the other 2 being Loughborough Derby Road, which closed in 1931, and Loughborough Central, which is part of the Great Central Railway Heritage Line. I did visit there quite recently, so be sure to check out that video. There are future plans here, however, as there is going to be a high level at Loughborough for passengers to change from the main line to the Heritage Line.
So, as you can probably tell, Loughborough has quite an extensive railway history, and also they've got the Great Central Railway here as well, the Preserve line, which I was on not too long ago. But in terms of what I mentioned was by the side of me, well, I'm going to turn around. Brush. Now that refers to Brush Traction, which was a manufacturer of locomotives. It was founded way back in 1865. Just to name a few, so you got the Class 31, which was a Brush Type 2. You got the Class 47, which is a Brush Type 4, and to caveat that, that is they shared the manufacturing with Crewe, and also you've got the Class 92 and the Class 60, which was manufactured here as well. So there is plenty that has happened and has gone on here. I'm not too familiar on what goes on nowadays, so I'll have to have a little look at that, but nonetheless, Loughborough, you know, I've said this before, scratch beneath the surface and you will learn a lot.
As I waited for my train, I had one last look around and headed onto the footbridge, and I got quite a nice surprise over on platform 1. Right on time, my service to Nottingham arrived into platform 3 with a Class 170, and my journey to Doncaster began. This turned out to be a very scenic route, with my eyes firmly looking out of the window, with stops at East Midlands Parkway, Attenborough and Beeston, before I reached my first changeover point at Nottingham Railway Station.
Okay, so we're at the first changeover point, so I'm now at Nottingham. I haven't been here before actually. This is a very, very nice station, although having said that, Loughborough was an extremely pretty station with the stonework on the station buildings. And I have to say, the journey here was very picturesque, to be fair. We've got the Leicestershire countryside, there was a few rivers, there was a lovely sort of railway bridge which went over one of the rivers. I was too busy getting numbers down, so I didn't really get a chance to film that, but I quite enjoyed that journey, but got 10 minutes here, and then it's on to Sheffield. So, as always, let's learn something about Nottingham.
Nottingham Railway Station opened on the 22nd of May 1848 by the Midland Railway. It consists of 9 platforms, 7 for the main line and 2 for the local tram services in Nottingham. The station is also managed by East Midlands Railway. Its services are also run by East Midlands Railway as well as cross-country and northern, taking you to places like Sheffield, Leeds, Derby and Crewe. Just like Loughborough, Nottingham Station is Grade 2 listed, and Nottingham Station was one of several that once served the city here. Those stations were Nottingham Victoria on the former Great Central Railway and Nottingham London Road on the Great Northern Railway, with both of these stations being closed for a very long time, with barely no trace left of them today. I now carried on my journey on a pair of Class 158s as I now ventured up towards Sheffield, passing through stations like Ilkeston, Alfreton, Chesterfield and Dronefield. And for those who keep up with my videos, you will know that Sheffield is a firm favourite of mine with its connections to the Hope Valley line. And also recently, you will have noticed that I took a similar route along here when I went on the Barrow Hill Rail Tour. It's always nice to have a familiar route in to take.
Right then, so we are now at Sheffield. So I'm going to say this now, I'm not going to go into the detail that I have on the previous 2 stations purely because I've been Sheffield quite a few times, filmed it quite a few times, and I've already bombarded you with the information. So I'm not going to do it for a 3rd or 4th time. But nonetheless, what I am going to do is there's a few ins and outs of northern services. I think there's only about 3 or 4 that I'm going to get. So I thought a tiny bit of a train spotting compilation might be in order. I think it is. So enjoy this as I then get on the train behind me to Doncaster.
Having reached my last changeover point, it was now time to head along on the familiar route to the very popular Doncaster railway station. I decided to take a slightly earlier train. This one was a Class 170 heading to Scarborough with only a stop off at Meadow Hall before reaching my stop. When I reach Doncaster, that is where I will spend the next few hours doing some well-deserved train spotting. So keep an eye out for that video coming along very soon. But for now, I will add in a few clips when I reach Doncaster for you to enjoy. Don't say that I don't spoil you.
Right then, so that brings me to the end of my journey as I am now here at Doncaster railway station. So I'm going to spend the next sort of few hours here, bit of train spotting, getting the numbers down, maybe make a train spotting video. I might, depends what's coming through. But before I do go and sign off, I just want to, and I always have a look, let's see what's in the sidings here. So I'm going to turn it around. So from here we've got a class 331, and then we've got 67028 and 68027 named Splendid. Further up there are a couple of old southeastern units, and in the distance I'm not going to be able to go and see it, but in the distance there is a West Coast Railways Class 47. Hopefully it moves at some point. I don't know. I'll put it in if I do. But I can just about see it, but the camera won't reach, so there's no point in showing you nonetheless. But all the same, I hope you've enjoyed that journey. It was something a little different than what I normally do. But yeah, like we said, we've added a couple more stations on at Loughborough and Nottingham, and also 2 that we've already been to, which are fantastic stations in their own rights. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you again in another episode of Down the Line. See you later.
First-class accommodation can be found in zones 4 to 3, Swinton, Rotherham Central, Meadowhall and Sheffield.